Okay, so I'm just going to bounce back into YAS for a second to point out that the network adapter, if I go into network system, sorry, and network settings, and I go into the network adapter, and I look at the global options here, you can actually see the service I'm referring to, okay? So the network setup method, the actual service that is providing the network services on our machines is through a service called Wicked. Okay, the Wicked service. I have no idea why it's called that. Oh, you didn't see it?
I was scanning it with my eyes, but I couldn't see it. Sorry.
On the General tab, so again, I've opened up the network settings. On the Global tab, I should say, right here. Wicked service on the network setup. Okay, so again, so the service, the network service that OpenSUSE, this version of OpenSUSE uses, is actually a service called Wicked. Wicked.server is the official name of the service. Okay, so there are a bunch of Wicked commands. Sorry. Wicked commands, let me just change the settings here. Actually, yeah, I'll do it on this machine. So again, I am at the client machine right now, and some of the commands that you can use, you can type wicked show all, okay, and notice what that does is it's showing us my Ethernet 0 down here. It's telling me that the DHCP address was granted. It shows me the IPv4, the IP address that was actually assigned and that was DHCP. And it's showing me the configuration file that contains that information, ifcfg. So if I cat etc sysconfig /network /ifcfg -eth0, okay, you can actually see this is the file this is the file that identifies whether the adapter is configured dynamically or statically. Okay, so again, you would have static in here instead of DHCP if you wanted to do this manually. And then down here, the IP address and net mask and so on would be typed into those particular areas. Okay, so Wicked show all. If you only wanted to see the Ethernet adapter 0, obviously there's only the other one there that's not. If I do show Wicked show, instead of all, you can just actually put the adapter name, so ETH0. So now I'm seeing only the information for that particular adapter. Okay. I can, so let me come back out to my server for a second. I'm going to go in here. I'm going to go into my dhcp.conf file. I'm going to change this range from 25 to 75, just so that my client right now has an IP address that's not in this range at all. I want to force it to get a new IP address so that we can see something happen. So I am saving that again just to be sure. I'm going to do my system check syntax, and then I'm going to restart the DHCPD service. I'm going to go back to my client machine. So at this point, what I want to look at is how do I release and renew from the command prompt with the Wicked system. Now I have to say that the command is Wicked, if down followed by the adapter. Okay, that's going to shut down the Ethernet adapter. Okay, and then you, instead of if down, you would do if up, and that's pretty much equivalent to release and renew. Okay, on IP config. Okay, so right now it's Wicked if up is basically attempting to renew the IP address that it previously received from the DHCP server. And you can see that it says that it's up. Okay, if I do Wicked show ETH0, you can see that now it has the IP address of 75, so it did actually release the 25 address and got the new address. Okay. I don't know the difference. There's got to be a difference, but I don't know because you can use IF up without wicked. I used it for years.
I was gonna say.
You know,
Yeah.
you can use IF up and IF down without wicked. I don't know the significant if there's a difference in what happens between the two. For what we're doing, it doesn't matter. Okay, so in other words, I could say IF down ETH 0, okay, and then IF up ETH 0 without the wicked command. I haven't found anything that explains to me what if there's any advantage to using the wicked service versus just the basic command, and I don't have an answer for you as to why you would use one over the other, but what I should say is the previous client, I actually don't know if I even still have those commands in my notes. The previous client didn't use IF up and IF down to release and renew. In fact, I discouraged students from using it back in the day because what it didn't ever renew was the DNS settings. Okay, you used a different command to actually release and renew all. Okay, and it actually, for whatever reason, doing an IF up and an IF down and IF up didn't. If I had made changes to DNS settings at the DHCP server, those settings never got renewed. And so I would always say, don't use IF up and IF down, especially once you reconfigure DNS, because those settings aren't going to be renewed. Instead, the command was actually, it was a DHCP D command. It was a DHCP CD command for client daemon, and that command used to bring it down, bring it up, request an extended lease was what it was used. So again, but now I did test this last year just to confirm that it does now renew DNS. Both do. So I can't find a significant difference between using one or the other. Okay. And of course, you can also just do ifconfig ETH 0 to just see the IP addresses. Okay, you're not seeing anything more or less than what the show is showing you the IP address. It's not showing you anything more. It's not showing you DNS settings. It's not showing you which DHCP server assigned it the address. It's not really showing you any significant more information than the wicked shell. Okay, so again, either way, the objective is to obviously be able to check your IP settings to make sure any refreshing that you've done on the server side is being received by the client. The physical file on the client that stores these settings is an XML file that is out in the where is that file? /var/lib/wicked. Okay. And this file, lease ETH 0, so if I cat that file, you can see it's what you can see in here that's not reflected in any of the other commands that we saw is we can see the IP address of the server that it received it from. Okay, so I can see that my server's IP address is the IP address, the DHCP server that assigned this machine its address right here, server ID 192.168.232.10. The rest is just information that we see in a combination of the well, actually, on the client side, this is, once again, showing us in minutes renewal time and so on, which isn't very helpful to read, but it is what that's reflecting. Okay. Back at the server. Okay, on the server side, the file that contains the leases. Okay, so obviously there's a file on the server that keeps track of which IP addresses have been leased and what clients they've been leased to. And that's out in the /var/lib/db/dhcp.leases. Okay, so again, the path is /var/lib/dhcp/db, and the file's name is dhcpd.leases. Okay, so you can see obviously there's only one lease assigned. The start number identifies that first number is actually the day of the week, where 0 is a Sunday, so today's Tuesday, and that's a 2 for Tuesday. Okay, and then the date, obviously, 2/4, and the time. So that's when it starts, and then it also identifies when it ends. How many, didn't I say 4 days?
Oh, no, you did 8 days.
Oh,
in-
8 days, all right, I did do 8
before.
days within the subnet, okay.
Yeah.
And then the CLTT is actually the time of the last transaction with the client on this lease. Okay, so the server keeps track of that. And then the binding state, is it active or not? And then you can obviously see the MAC address of the computer that, the host that received this IP address, along with the name of that host.
What's the UID? Is it universal ID? But what's that
The
for?
the UID
Is that the server or?
used by the client to acquire the lease. That's all I have on that.
I wonder
Okay.
if that's where you can put in the time or whatever. No, whatever. Never mind.
No, I think it's just like your user accounts have a unique ID number. Somehow I think
Oh.
that's the ID number that the client uses to communicate with the server.
Gotcha.
To me, I thought they used the MAC address, but when I did look that up, because I was curious as to what it was myself, that's the definition I got. The client uses it to actually acquire the lease. Okay. Okay, so, questions so far?
Does it try to renew the lease early, like Windows does? Or is it
You know what, I've never read any documentation that states that, so I'm not 100% sure, but I've not read anything that says it does. Like Microsoft at the 50% mark, it automatically renews or attempts to renew. I don't know that it does. It might, but I haven't seen that documented anywhere. Okay. Okay, so in regards to here, this is what a so it's just some commands that I had. This PowerPoint is out on the thing as well. So just some commands. Oh, this is old. This is an old slide, guys. You know what? I took this from my N drive. I did not take it from the website. So I mustn't have updated. Those are commands, old commands from the old client. I'm pretty sure that that the PowerPoint presentation up on the site is up to date. Yeah. So the check syntax, RC DHCPD check syntax, systemctl option, again, at that option being status enable start, restart, all the same options that we had in any of the other system CTLs we've looked at. And then the client side, using either the IF up or the wicked. Actually, I don't even have the wicked in here at all. Wicked IF up or wicked IF down. But again, IF up, IF down, wicked show all, wicked show Ethernet name. Okay, to in fact restart the adapter, renew the IP settings, and so on. These are the files, most of which I think we've looked at. Yeah, I think all of them we looked at. Okay, so the dhcp.conf file, again, is that configuration file that if you make modifications to, you need to check the syntax and then restart the service. This is the file on the server that has all the leases in it. Of course, we only have one because we only have one machine, but and then I did look at this on the client, but you could look at it on the server as well. That's where you would see whether as a matter of fact, if we look at it on the server, we'd see what it would look like when it's configured statically. So that path was, that's the old one. Sysconfig network. Let's see, sysconfig network. No, that's not the name. Okay, adapter. So if I do a cat if cfg -eth0, you can see static, as I said. Okay, you can see the IP address along with the subnet within that. And at this point, obviously, I don't have any DNS or gateway configured, so we're not seeing it here either, but it would be presented in here as well. Okay, so again, that file, in all honesty, could be used to change a network adapter from static to dynamic, just as long as once you make modifications to the file, you IF down the file, the adapter, and you IF up the adapter so that it rereads those settings, and that would be another way to change a card from being dynamic to static or static to dynamic. Okay. Probably a good time to take a break. We'll come back and we'll look at configuring what we'll find the closest way to create what might be referred to as an exclusion. Actually, a reservation we'll look at first, and then we'll look at an exclusion.